real things. Let's see. Well, what should I show you? Let's hit V to view my bookmarks. And of course, my first bookmark is my own homepage. The Cheshire Catalyst, Amazing Shoulder Surfer since 1975, ampersand pound 153. Well, let's see now. Alt B for bookmarks, and Cheshire Catalyst homepage. Bring it up. And notice that that 153 puts up the trademark symbol. If we go to digital.net tilde Aussie slash test.html. Ozzy's my roommate back in Titusville, Florida. I've taken all the characters you can find and put up a little file so I can see what numbers go to which characters. When we get down to 153, do we have a laser pointer?
No, but somebody does.
Okay. When we get to 153, you'll notice a little TM up there. Down at 174 is the Circle R for registered trademark, 169 the copyright symbol. There's a cent sign at 162. And let's see, down around, thank you very much. Do I twist that or push it? Full. Okay. And push a button. Okay, how high tech. And down around number 216, we've got this O with a slash in it. Golly, I wonder what we could do with that. Well, let's go on down and see what I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to Beyond Hope. I've been to all these places, and following the con, I intend to go to the Computer Museum in Boston and Loft, with a slash in it, Heavy Industries. And all I've done, actually, I didn't use the number, V for view, S for source, since I'm in Netscape, it would be C under Internet Expletive. And what we find in the source code for this is L ampersand O slash semicolon, which gives us an O slash, and puts up the characters I want. And then I put in a comment, are you looking to see how I got a /0? And then give my email address of cheshire@2600.com, because if you go Alt F4 to get rid of that window, Control L, www.l0pht.com, we find that at Loft Heavy Industries, they have the graphic. Even their alt tag uses a 0 character. They have the slash in their graphic, but down below, they use the 0 character, which under HTML does not show a slash. So, core, loft, where they've got these zeros because it is cool, spelled K-E-W-L in the modern era, you find that they don't have the slash show up. So, is mine more elite for, oops, wrong button? The question then becomes, using the alt back arrow, left arrow, is mine more elite for having the slash and the 0 as part of the character? Over here, I've got Telnet up showing my Cheshire Catalyst page. And you'll notice that we've got the Beyond Hope logo animated by Meme in square brackets. The square brackets is a clue to people with non-graphic web browsers like Lynx, which I'm using by using Telnet here. And this is a clue that this is the alt tag of an image. Hit the backslash key, and we can see, a little farther down here, we've got image source equals in my images directory. Hang on. Do that. Things slow, Kimosabi. I'm accidentally hitting wrong characters here. Here we go. Where was it? Okay. Hope, the reference is to hope.net. The image, the source is images/bhanimated.gif, which was the name of the file. A line is all the stuff from there, and then the alt tag, quote, Beyond Hope logo, close quote, border of 0. And this allows you to have something that can be seen by a user who does not have graphics. Let's go back over here a minute, a little farther down in the Hope area. the original Beyond Hope webpage actually is a page that I created on the 2600 email list about the Hope Conference for about a month. The Yammerheads were saying, you know, we really ought to have a web page, and, you know, somebody ought to have this stuff done up on the web. And finally, somebody wrote an email and said, you know, when we do the web page, it ought to have this, this, that, and the other such. So I used his format and just started putting things in. Now, you'll notice that we have inline here, okay? Let's come back over to Notscape. Let's go to the original Beyond Hope webpage. I've got to use the glide thing here. And see what it looks like over here. Now over here I've got these little blue dots, okay? Like it's a real graphics type web page. So when we do a view source, what we see we've done is we use a data list, and we've got the image source equals blue dot dot GIF, but the alt tag equals, quote, asterisk, close quote. And we do this all the way down until we get down here where we seem to have accidentally forgotten to put in the alt equals, quote, asterisk. And that gives us the dreaded inline message. And this is what people with links see when they don't have a graphic, or they have a graphic that does not have an alt tag, alt equals, to give them a textual idea of what graphic is supposed to be there. So you wind up with pages that say inline, inline, link, 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 inline, ismap, and there's nothing on them to give a links user any clues. One thing I hate are programmers that bitch about clueless users and then never put anything on the screens that give them clues. It's a pet peeve, I'm sorry. Why have I got another? Oh, that's the view page. Alt F4 will close that window. Down here we find that at the bottom of his original letter, and I spent the time, I found the New York City website, the Convention and Visitors Bureau website, and I'm leaning on buttons and pressing them, excuse me. The email questions was to be put in later. Contributors to this page include, and when we put an arrow on here, we see that it was to the Cheshire's homepage. When you went to Emmanuel Goldstein, that went to 2600.com. So, you know, it was hypertext, it was fun. And then in the guy's original letter, he said this, and what he meant was the web page, can be done quite quickly and updated and made pretty later, Dave. So I put on my thing as the suggested web page. It will get updated, but don't expect it to get pretty. This web page is a working information resource, not a graphic web school, Cheshire. As I typed that in, I realized, yes, at this lecture, this page would be my graphic web school. Back over in the non-graphic side, when you use the ULs, the unnumbered lists, you get the asterisks, you get the plus signs. It will pretty it up somewhat for you. The thing is, you need to telnet in to your host and then use links. Control D will get me out. I can do an ls to see my directory, cd space HTML. So I'm out. I'm in the real shelled world. LYNX, enter, and you're up on the World Wide Web using this software from, I believe, Kansas. Let's see. Information page. No. Up from that. Help. It's the links help files. Pardon? It used to be UKansas. It's now a bunch of developers on web. If you go to this about links from the H for help, it'll give you all the information eventually. And I should have emailed Sabir to be here. He's a guy who's really up on links. In fact, we probably need to bring up some of Ozzy's references because he's got things to some of the link stuff. Well, let's just go to www.links.org and see what we get. Pardon? Thank you. So that's not the right one. So it's go to, hang on, up, go to links.browser.org, and that will bring up, unable to connect, www.links.browser.org. Unable to connect. Okay, so we won't go there today.
Restart links, and there's the homepage on Startup.
No, that was the homepage for Florida Online, which is my internet service provider in Florida. Yeah, this is that homepage from Links, but no, that's just Florida Online stuff. Oh, yes, up here you'll notice that the title of this page is currently 404 file not found, posted robots keep out. Now, when Emmanuel lifted this page from me, because I sent to the email list, okay, my page is ready, it's in ~Cheshire/BeyondHope/ and it's just the index.html page, which is the International Standard Home website file name. And he pulled it and he put it up on the 2600.com site, made me very proud. But then he left the title in. He hadn't noticed this title, which was specifically put there so that when the robots come by from the search engines, they would see that and not put it into their search engines, as this is the place where this page should reside. In the 2600.com, we'd want them to find it. It got changed to the Beyond Hope homepage as the title, but I had to point it out to him 2 days later. So that was fun. We're going to go back to my homepage. Let's see. I hope. Yes. Now, you'll notice that I have this thing here. Here's some links I picked up in New York City while attending the Beyond Hope conference. The Pop Shop, which is directly across the street with the artworks of Keith Haring. I caught him in the subway once, years and years ago, and let him know, hey, I'm cool. I'm not the one stopping you from your chalk work, which I think is wonderful, and just let him know he had a fan. The Cyber Cafe down the block, we stopped in for lunch yesterday. Rosa Phil is a friend of Aaron K. DP Pieman, an old buddy of mine from way back, and she's here. She just emailed me her page. So what we're going to do is show you how we just edit this stuff online as we go sometimes. Now, when you telnet in, let's Control D. Ordinary users, depending on your internet service provider, might get a menu. Florida Online, my personal internet service provider, has this menu where you've got 1, the World Wide Web, 2, email, talk to user, all these different things. I, of course, have a shell account. I just do it from the command line. You can get to a shell prompt. Pico, html/index.html, except that I was already in the HTML directory. So Pico index.html. Control W to search. Notice on the bottom 2 lines I've got clues. Search for XXX, and there is the comment line, so I know where the bottom of my list is, LI, and href equals, quote, http://www.2600.com, 2600 magazine/a offices. I was privileged to be allowed to take a shower there. Pardon? Thank you. I'm a hacker, not an English major, okay? And let's see. And Control H, I believe will, no, I guess it won't. And one of these things, Control H, will bring up help menus, and there's all the ways to find out how this works. leave another blank there, Control O to write out, Alt Tab, Control R to repaint the screen in Netscape, and now we find that we have added, still waiting for reply, filling in the stuff above where I was at on the page. And now we've added the 2600 magazine offices. So now if we click on that, off we go. So with just a Telnet connection, I can log in, I can check my mail, I can edit my web page, but when I get to other people's pages, let's see, Alt B. For example, you'd think a really class outfit like the Reader's Digest, okay? They have a very pretty page. They have people who are doing a wonderful job making it look real good. Well, golly, I'm in my public library, and I would like to go visit the Reader's Digest. So I hit G for go to, www.readersdigest.com, and I get a page. This template stuff at the bottom, if you look at the things on the bottom here, it's badly formed address, template, you know, if we look up here on the other page, we see that when I put in readersdigest.com, it aliased to asterisk template equals all this strange stuff, and Links is going, huh? What? This is a bad web address. I can't find this. So they had sent me an email saying, come look at our spiffy page, and I get this crap, and I can't come look at their page. I got very irate. I tracked down the webmaster, and we're having lunch tomorrow to discuss making their pages available to non-graphic web users. Thank you. And I'm doing wonderfully for time. It's just these little things, these alt tags, that will make such a large difference. Frames. Let's see. Who was I going to show off for frames? Go is www.mlsnet. Nope, wait. Control U, cancel that. View me. Actually, go to digital.net Cheshire Politics. Digital.net. You know, all these FBI guys and Secret Service guys, y'all want to know what the politics are of us hackers. Pound. Oops. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, I'm on my home page. So I finally put down my political agenda, and there's a logo of Sam's Army. Yeah, my political agenda, Sam's Army, which is the supporters group for the U.S. national soccer team. Now, this is the game the rest of the world loves, that Americans are finally starting to pick up and are getting into. Finally, we're joining the rest of the world with something and not shoving it down their throats. This is what I like about it. This is why I think it's politics. Because these are people we need to schmooze with, go out to sporting games with, peace through killing each other on the soccer field. But over here, in the Telnet side, go to, Control U. Let's see if pound politics is good enough. Nope, okay. So we'll just space on down. But where I have a graphic on the one page, over here, nothing shows up. No link, no inline, no asterisk. And the reason for that is that alt equals quote, quote, a null string. So where I have a strictly superfluous graphic for no good reason other than to just show off the funny head on the soccer ball, which looks cool to graphic people. The non-graphic people don't have a clue it's there and don't need one. So this is, one of the little tricks for making a web page more user-friendly to guys that can't see your graphics. And who are the people that can't see your graphics besides the guys in the public libraries using the card catalog terminals like I do in the Brevard County Library System in Titusville, Florida? The blind kids. These poor schmucks, you got to feel for them because computers came around, they got their speech synthesizers going, and just as they got the stuff working with DOS, along came Windows. They're just starting to get their Windows software squared away, and up come frames. Give them a break, people. You can't just have low bandwidth, you got to have almost null bandwidth. Allow these people to read your pages. I forget which pages I was going to go for MLS. I think that's going to show what I want to. MLSnet.com, and then I'll try NASCAR, I think. MLS is the Major League Soccer page. And if you have frames, please put your contents frames on the right, not the left. The reason for this is that links and the non-graphic browsers will start at the top, and of course you go from left to right in English, and the first thing you come across is your contents, and so you have to go through all of those contents before you can get to the content of that particular page. If you put your contents frame on the right, you get fresh contents when you click on one of those things, and then your references are at the bottom. The way you should always have, besides your graphic things you can click on for this, that, the other, and email me, you also have it in text at the bottom so that the non-graphic people can find it. Okay, we seem to have some, well, I think this is done as a table, not as frames, so this isn't quite what I'm looking for. But you get the idea. You've seen frames, you know what it's about. The people who have never seen frames because they just can't see get really confused. I personally don't like frames. I want people to be able to bookmark my pages. And if I have a page a couple of levels down and that's what they want to go to, that's where they should get to immediately, and they should know what that URL is. Inside a frame, it doesn't tell you. You've really got to get really good with the Alt-View and then Source to try and figure out what some of these things are. Major League Soccer is, of course, our Premier League. Let's see. Other good pages. Thank you. This is Ozzy's pride and joy. He sits there in Titusville, Florida, trying to keep track of all the space launches going on across the river at the Kennedy Space Center, and keeps this more up to date than his homepage. And he's really proud too because the Scott, who's the flight engineer for the shuttle, the next shuttle flight in September, not the one that's up now, these guys have their own web page. They went to NASA and said, what would it take for us to put up our own website? Oh, we'd have to get the approvals and it would have to go through. No, that's all right. We will go out to our own service provider. Oh, it hasn't come up yet, but these guys are at phoenix.net in Houston. They have their own web page to keep track of their flight for STS 86, it's 85 that's up there now. And Ozzy's on, I think, week 13. He gets a mention for pointing out that they should have the square brackets in the alt tags so that the guys know that this is a description of a photo or a logo, a patch or something. So he was very proud to be included in that. We'll go back to the launch page. I hope. Okay, reading file. And notice they have a no frames homepage, which is the one that Ozzy links you to. Doesn't waste your time going through the stuff to where you want to get to. He tries to get you there. Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center has a homepage, and it's just this graphic you click to get to the first information. Well, Ozzy will link you straight to that first information because why should you waste your time? The next unmanned rocket launches. This is cute. Click that. And of course, this just takes you farther down to the same page, as you can see by the thing going to jump down here. We've got a bunch of questions, but these are the things you want to find first. And now going to unmanned.up. System slow, Kimosabe. What? Oh, we wound up back at MLS. So Alt right arrow will take me forward. It's as if I had a forward button. By the way, I have dredged my childhood and come up with a hero. Anyone remember Mr. Jinx, the Hanna-Barbera cat that used to chase Pixie and Dixie yelling, "I hates Mises to pieces"? My hero. Unmanned launches. And we find that the Air Force has a classified payload going up. Golly, isn't that interesting? I wonder who we should link to for further information about the classified launch. So we'll just click on that and find out where we're going. And we wind up visiting, just waiting for it on the guitar, the World Wide Web homepage of the National Reconnaissance Office. The people who used to be even more super secret than the National Security Agency, and now they're on the web. But isn't everybody? As we slide on down the page, best place to park for a space shuttle launch, which is in Titusville, for an unmanned launch. See, the shuttles launch from the Kennedy Space Center. That's up the coast from where the old Mercuries and Geminis used to launch from. But the unmanned still go from Cape Canaveral Air Station, where the Deltas, Atlases, and Titans still go from. So you want to be at Port Canaveral down by Cocoa Beach. So it depends on what you're watching go. Can you see a shuttle landing? How to get a car pass? Radio and TV stations. Now, notice a graphic. SAREX, the Shuttle Amateur Radio Experiment. That's about the only graphic on the page, because I'd have to change out the mission patch every mission, and it's just too much of a bother. But this flies on almost every mission where there's ham operators on board, and ham radio is one of those few hobbies you can take up with you into space as recreation, as equipment that is potentially useful as emergency rescue equipment. And in fact, on one of the shuttle flights, I think it was STS-75, there was a communications outage. And as they were passing over Australia, they contacted the ground to please call Houston, let them know, we know about this, or Houston called up to them through the Australian hams, gave them information, we'll have you back as you come over Goldstone. And, it was just a short outage, but the messages did go via ham radio. You don't need Morse code anymore. I'll tell you, I went to a ham fest and said, "Hi, I'm into computers," and they said, "Have you heard about packet radio?" Scratch, scratch. What's that? "Oh, it's data communications over ham radio." "A datacom mode that I can't play with? Where's those Morse code tapes?" Learned Morse code, got my ticket, been listening to shortwave for 20 years, BBC World Service, Radio Canada International, never needed to talk. But once my computer needed to talk, I got my ham ticket. And 6 months after I got my ham license, they did away with the Morse code requirement. And with just the ticket, the technician ticket, you can play with space satellites. AMSAT, the Amateur Radio Satellite Organization, they build satellites. They're built by hams. They're launched as piggybacks with other payloads going up. It's wonderful stuff. You can play with satellites in the comfort of your own home. One thing I wanted to show was the editing process. When you've got Windows, things are a little easier, I have to admit. Okay, we're back up here at the menu. We're going to exit that. Pine. This is some of my email. Now, my buddy Ozzy sent me a message. "Are you having fun in New York? Please remember to find me some picante sauce while you're up there, anything but pace." The reason being, he wants the picante sauce that's made in New York City. New York City, exactly. You've seen the ad. Well, I lived in New York for 12 years, and now I'm down there, and I see this ad, and I want the piccati sauce that's made in New York City. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a URL that he's got in the text of his message. We're going to highlight it, then go Alt, Edit, Copy. And now the highlighting's gone away. So now we're going to go Q to quit the mail, links to bring up our non-graphic web browser, G for go to, and Alt, Edit, Paste. Why, I didn't type it wrong. Isn't that amazing? If I want to paste it into my file, I've got it to paste. I could then take something, let's see, V for bookmarks, and let's try 26, the MIT IHTFP Hack Gallery. And thank you, Night Stalker, for giving me this one, Night Stalker of CDC. Now we hit the equal sign. This gives us the information about the current document. We do, oops, wrong spot. We do the highlight hack. Alt-E copy. Come over here to Netscape. Control-L for location. And now, because we're in a Windows environment, Control-V to paste. Do I need to take out the space in the front? Probably not, so I just hit Enter. Off it goes, and up comes the page. Because some pages, you really should, go look at what graphics they got there, because they might be cool. One day, I walked out of an Office Depot in Orlando, and it was pouring rain, downpour, one of these 10-minute things we get every once in a while, usually daily. I went next door to the Eggplant software just to kill time for the 10 minutes that the storm would take to pass over. There was a young freak in there, freak hacker, showing off his homepage. So I shoulder surfed and I took down the URL, went back to the library, brought up links, put in the URL. It was all link, inline, ismap, link. Your browser sucks. The only alt tag on the entire page was your browser sucks, and you just knew that it was part of the illustration the kid swiped and put on his page and didn't even know it was there. So that is the absolute worst case of a graphic web page I've ever run across. And so here we've got the MIT Hack Gallery. It's got a small graphic, but mostly it is benign to graphics and will be over here. If we go back, U for up, we find it has an inline image that we don't really need. It's not too bad. It has the by year, by location, by topic. So that means that here, where they've got the images, they use alt equals quote, quote. So these guys have been sensitized to the issue. Now, notice also that they've got the gray background. On my pages, I generally tend to have a white background. This is the only time when I really cater to the graphic crowd, because I think the gray sucks. I call it executive gray to make it, sound like, well, I don't want to be too insulting sometimes, but the term executive gray should be insult enough. And this is about the only counter that I've got in any of the pages, 8951 so far. Let's see. Oh, the web access symbol. It means it's enhanced. And if we click on that, where we go. Oh, also, notice you are reading HTTP colon, I've got the URL on the page here, okay? Why would anybody be foolish enough to do that? They're looking at the page. Why would it be there? If somebody prints out the page, hands it to somebody else, that person will be able to find your page. Little things that really make a web page work. This is the National Center for Accessible Media, where they discuss a bunch of these accessibility things. And because I made the pages so accessible, I grabbed their logo and ran with it. these are various companies that are involved now. Boy, this list is getting longer and longer. More people are getting sensitized. And you know what? Check back in a month, guys. I'll see if I can't get the Reader's Digest to throw in some bucks. Let's see. Nope, don't want that. I want the Alt left arrow to go backwards, and then backwards again. Backwards again. Backwards again. I'm being foolish. I should go Alt G for go, and then I want 4 for the Cheshire Catalyst's homepage. Because what I want you to do is copy down my URL, which at the bottom there, http:// notice no www, that won't get you the page, digital.net/cheshire. So if you get there, at the top of the page, of course, you'll find my email address. You can click on that. You can ship me email. It's just cheshire@2600.com. It may be a week or two before I can get back to you because I expect a bunch of email when I get home. But I will respond to email. And of course, links compatible. This is links enhanced and proud of it, which means we can probably get off to Sabir's page from here. It's probably off for the summer somewhere, though. Oh, yeah, and UTC 970422. Well, that's going nowhere fast. So let me go off here a minute. Talking about giving people clues, okay? 970422 is a very strange format. So the clue is click the hyperlink. It takes you out to a university in Germany to explain to you that what I am using is, waiting for it to come around on the guitar, it is the International Standard Date Time Notation of year, month, day, hour, minute, second in computer sortable order. And that's the real trick there. Again, links available from my homepage, so you don't need to copy these down. I do have a link from here to Ozzy's Space Launch FAQ page. The higher media thing, if you remember the Comet Cult, okay? It really is good if you haven't been there. Also, the Capitol Steps, who do political humor out of Washington, D.C., did a song about them. Wonderful stuff. And do we have the sound hooked up? No, there are speakers in here. No, okay, it's not coming out. No, oh, okay. Okay, the trick is that they play the soundtrack to MASH. Oh, here it comes. Where's the speaker? Oh, no. Okay, it's not worth it. Don't worry. But it's just it's a MIDI file. It plays the theme music to MASH. Okay, everyone remembers the TV. Okay, who remembers the movie? There were words back then. What were the words? Suicide is painless. It brings on many changes. And that was the joke there. Well, as you can see, their webpage is starting to fall apart. The graphic links. I mean, this should all be the same. Oh no, they're the different graphics. So it's starting to break down. It's been a few months now, but this parody site was up within 24 hours of the news breaking. And so I immediately linked to it, and it was really great stuff. Funny, if you go down these links, it's hilarious. Sick, I admit, but hilarious. Yeah, that's why where I've got this whole warning about it, but in net parlance, rolling on the floor laughing my ass off. Sick but funny. So if you read it, it's at your own risk. Oh yeah, my political agenda is death to the shootout, but that's a whole thing. Let's play the world's game by the world's rules. This counter is where you go off to the Ozzy Space Launch viewing page. On this page, it just looks at the counter without incrementing it, so I can see how many, have gone where other users have gone before. And the trick is, folks, yes, I am Ozzy. I'm real hard at keeping the two identities apart sometimes. The trick is, everyone knows, like it says at the top of the page, okay? The Cheshire Catalyst is really Richard Cheshire, former editor of Tab. Folks call me the Cheshire. People who don't know him read his name tag call him Richard, but only salesmen ever try to call him Dick. The thing is that they want to know who the Cheshire Catalyst is, and of course it's Richard Cheshire. They know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. They know Superman is Clark Kent. A third level of abstraction strictly for privacy purposes doesn't occur to most people. But my real name is Robert Osborne, it's strictly a privacy issue. But when I get that phone call in the middle of the night, Cheshire, I know what direction they're coming from. Okay, that's the whole thing. It is the worst kept secret on 4 continents. And I'm happy to tell you when we're together like this, but I asked the journalists to just keep it, a little quiet. In fact, in the 1982 Technology Illustrated article, which BIAC 003 hacked in years ago, the author there had a really great thing. Let me Control F to find once the page comes up. Well, that's taking too long. Okay, the quote was, "The Cheshire Catalyst isn't his real name. In fact, it isn't even his real pseudonym." He thought I was going to be very angry at that, and I loved it. I thought the line just, yes, that's what I wanted to say, because I'm not really trying to hide it. It's strictly the privacy issue. So you find me, you've got this route to get down to the Ozzy pages if you want to see the space stuff. Now let's go to the space stuff a minute and show you some of the stuff that it'll link to. Okay, there's that graphic, so we can find that. Nice big space to click on. Because for you space cadets out there, pardon? Oh, that was what was the article in Wired that I thought was amazing is the question. And that was the article a few months back about FLAG, the fiber optic link around the globe. It was like a 50-page article. It goes on forever. Do not read it on the web. Bring it up, click File, Save it off on your hard drive. Do not waste your online time reading the thing because it goes on forever. And if you are the kind of freaks and hackers I think you are for being here, you will read this thing and you will be amazed. You will not be bored. It was great. I loved it. But once you read it, you'll know what kind of weirdo I am because I loved it. Let's see now. We've got a whole bunch of things here. And yes. Okay, the question was about the cognitive overload and having so many links. I have received emails in which I have felt honored because they tell me they don't bookmark all the links. They bookmark me because I have the links they want to go to. And one lady told me that she thought she'd look up my page. It was 10 o'clock at night. She didn't get through till 3 a.m. And that was an ego boost to me. Uh-huh. He's saying that psychologists are designing the pages now that there's too much information and it has to be toned down. And they can only read a certain amount of information at one time. That's true. But the thing is, I don't have much information on. If you look, I've only got a few things, a few paragraphs, but links. If you want more information, you can go there. And I take you directly there. Mars Global Surveyor, for example. I don't need to have much information. I don't need graphics. I will take you to the place that has the graphics, the information, the what have you. And you can get all the information you want if you want it. I don't expect everybody wants all the information I've got. And I don't have to waste my disk space with that information. I link to them, to the guy who has the interest in keeping it up to date. You know, there it is. Reason this is up here, as a ham operator, there is a communication system from Mars to orbit in the ham radio 440 band. And Goldstone can't get down that low. So as they needed to test it on the way out from Earth, they asked the hams to help. And so I got on a couple mailing lists that way and have just, you know, kept up on it ever since. But I don't need to have this information. I know there's information overload going on. And yes, I'm a part of that. I'm guilty of it. But the thing is that I will link you to other information that you might not have found that I've run across. And this is part of the share the knowledge concept that I helped publish TAP for, why Manny publishes 2600, to get information out. And the World Wide Web is just the greatest resource for that. And when I find things that I know my friends are interested in, I email them. I send them the URL. And usually they've got, like Netscape, URL highlights, because it says http://. If I just put the www.hope.net, it wouldn't highlight. But with http:// it highlights. Also, another little trick. Bring up Pine a minute. Just waiting for it to come around on the guitar. Okay, back up to the message from Ozzy. Because Ozzy and I tend to do things pretty much the same way. But you'll find that, let me get my arrow, besides the HTTPs and URLs I want you to be able to click on in your Netscape mail, it says mail2:N4SUI@amsat.org, which is the call sign at the Amateur Radio Satellite Organization. It's just a .forward file out there. But because mail2 is an actual URL, Netscape highlights that in email received. So they can just click on that rather than reach up to the reply button. And actually, I've got friends who are so clueless they haven't figured out the reply button yet. But something that comes up blue, a hyperlink, that they can figure out, that they've got already, that they've got down. So that way I make sure that, besides, this is my permanent email address because it's a router. It's a forward file. And if I ever change to a different ISP, I just notify AMSAT, they change the forward file, and the mail follows me. I only need the one change of address notice to go out. Same with Cheshire2600.com. I just send an email to Manny, he just rewrites the forward file. Because I don't have an account at 2600.com, I've just got that forward file sitting out there. But it's so easy, much easier for people to email me that way. It's wonderful. I'm so grateful for them. Also, besides asking for Bacardi sauce, Ozzy got this. Before you become too mesmerized with gorgeous gadgets and mesmerizing video displays, let me remind you that information is not knowledge. Knowledge is not wisdom, and wisdom is not foresight. Each grows out of the other, and we need them all. Arthur C. Clarke, Colombo, Sri Lanka. Okay, about 10 minutes to go. Any other questions? Yes? Mail2 tags do not have 2 slashes. If we go, Q for quit, links, V for view bookmarks, enter for my homepage, then backslash to view the source, we find that href equals mail2:Cheshire@2600.com. So that is a full URL. Then question mark subject equals homepage will drop homepage in the subject line. I clicked on somebody's mail2 and had something come up in the subject line and I totally freaked. I ran to view source to find out how the heck he did that. And this is how he did that. And it's very useful because people will email you and say, hey, that was neat, would you send me more information on it? What was it? So this way, at each place where I put an email me, I put some tag in the subject to tell me what it was about. Clues. they're going to be clueless, and they're going to make you clueless too. So you got to leave clues. Other questions? Yes, Owen.
Just note, there's a program called NetTamer.
NetTamer, okay.
Now, if you go back to your mail, right, you see mail from me, change the URL.
Oh, good. Let's do that then. Elliot has sent me mail, and we will Control D out of that. Pine-I to go directly to the index. And, oh, I'm in the Ozzy account. No, I'm not. Wait. No. You sent mail to the Ozzy account. That's what it was. Yep. This is the problem with having good friends who know you well and when you've got two email accounts. So we'll tell them that to the other account. And Pine-I and opening folder, blah, blah, blah. Wait. And yes, okay. Did not have time to download. Okay, so now we are going to highlight. Oops. Alt, edit, copy. Come over here, Control L for location. Control V to paste. Enter. And find NetTamer, which is a low bandwidth DOS web browser. So works with 286s and 386s, I'm told. And wait a minute. What happened here? Okay, NetTamer homepage. A DOS PPP dial-up access program requiring no TSR packet driver. It'll web browse, send your email. Ooh, okay, this is neat stuff. So now, I've already got it captured. I can quit the mail. PWD, present working directory. I'm in the Ozzy account. I need to exit that to make sure I'm in the Cheshire account. I'm in the HTML directory, so pico index dot, yep, fat finger syndrome. Index.html. Waiting for it to come round on the guitar. Control W for search, for where is search, XXX, up a line or two, LI for a list point, A, href equals quote, alt, edit, paste, close quote, end, NetTamer home page. Oh, okay, there's a dash that's supposed to go there?
Well, that's the way they spell it.
Okay, if they spell it that way, that's how it should go. Home page with thanks to, what do you want? Big L?
Big L, okay. But put that in the description that it's, endorsement of the program.
Okay.
You know what it is.
A web browser with PPP connection in DOS. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, so now Control O to write, Alt tab back to Netscape, Alt B for bookmarks, Cheshire Catalyst homepage. The hourglass comes back. And what we'll find is that it's not there because it got it from the cache. Control R to refresh from the net. And now the NetTamer homepage is there. and click. Oh, right, that's a HAL 9000 die. That's what that is. I know, I have one. I've got the full length one on my desktop at home. And so there are various releases you can download. Non-graphic. Notice the executive gray, so you know that this is optimized for Lynx people and such. Great stuff. Thank you, Elliot. Appreciate that. Other questions?
What do you think about low-res source images?
Low-res source images. Well, with the non-graphic browser, even low-res won't show up. So even little icons will come up with the big inline statement.
I double quote them out anyway, but
Yeah,
just people.
it's good to double quote them out. It might be good if you've got like a red ball GIF that you're using to alt equals quote asterisk close quote. You know, put something in there so that the non-graphic user does see that there is something there. It'll look a little bit like what the graphic user sees. They won't really understand there's a difference either. But if you don't have it in there and they get the inline, they'll know. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, folks, hang around for a Metro card with the red balaclava coming at you at 1. So that's any time now. 3 minutes or so. So stick around.